Der Hangout on air ist jetzt auf Sendung. So,
Amazing.
welcome. Yes, we play in a German hangout, but it's you can speak English in a German hangout. It doesn't break
Deutsch
the
reden.
Yeah. So this is the second session of Dialect. We live in our compound still. We will make a little summary of what happened last time. Like, I think we can combine that somehow with character creation, because we have one new player and one player from last time who is not around. I don't do the full introduction because this is the second session and we already talked a little bit before we went online. So we can go in medias res with creating a character for Sabine. And Sabine has watched a little bit of the setting creation from last time, so we don't need to go into all the details from first YouTube, but we still should do so also to remind ourselves what has actually happened. So just very quickly, we are in the Colombian jungle and we are former students who decided to leave society completely because of the terrible things which are happening in the society we were living in before, fighting against corrupt governments, the drug war especially. And the drug war is still like very intense in many of our members. And for the aspects we had, like, we freed ourselves from the terror of the drug war. We had the river runs around us because we are on an island in the middle of a river. And the third aspect is the return to home, which has a more spiritual kind of nature. It's something where we consider ourselves being very close to nature again. And we have already played through H1, so we created 4 worlds already. And now today we have H2, H3, and the legacy ahead of us. But yeah, so but first of all, let's have a look what character cards are in front of us. And I could screen share with you possibly. I will do that afterwards. So what do you think about a leader or a protector, or what do we have? A celebrity is also on the table, and a sage.
A sage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I like the protector. Protector is fine.
Yes. So the protector, I will try to copy the card into one of our drawings, but just quickly I will read it to you. It's steadfast and secure. You are the shield that guards the isolation, either from outside or within. And people talk to you about safety. And now for character creation, the most important part is you identify with all but one aspect. So one aspect is you don't identify with. You actually fear the remaining one. That causes you anxiety.
Okay, so I think the aspect I'm fearing is the first one, the drug war. I'd really like to avoid that. I'm afraid of that. I don't want to go back. But the other two, the river and the return home, I think I identify strongly with that. I think I'm some kind of a almost ranger, outdoorsy kind of guy.
That sounds good, yeah. So you could get well along with our Scrounger Paul's character.
Okay.
But with a different perspective, possibly.
Yeah. I can write on this.
You can, right? Yeah. And here's the card if you want to read it up again. I will do now the screen sharing.
Okay.
So let's introduce. Are you writing in there together, or what do you do?
No, I'm just writing, yeah.
I will screen share the ages with us so we can see you typing live. All right. So in the meantime, I think we could do character introduction. So Sabina gets an idea of who is with us here, and then we should read what happened at the end of age 1 to the compound, the heart. And finally, we should also introduce like what we thought about the words we introduced, because they are not self-explicable, I think. Yeah.
Explanatory.
Explanatory, thank you. Yes. All right. So I am Aziza. Aziza is she, her, and based on the innocent archetype. I am a gardener, and I like to decorate things with colors and spices, and I'm just 18 years old, so I'm second generation. We are already more than 20 years actually isolated from the world around us. It's 2003, and 20 years ago, we got rid of any connection to the outside world. So I was born in isolation. People talk to me when they are worried. And unfortunately, there are more and more reasons to be worried. But especially they talk to me when they are worried about me. And I ask myself why there's so much anger. And I hope that we all get along. So I can be like a healer in some sense. And yeah, so I'm actually the lover of Primitivo. So, and Jarji, Thomas' character, was my father, but he's not with us anymore. I think just for the memory of him, we keep his character sheet, but I put a little bit more in the corner. Yeah. So I identify with all the aspects. But the return to home, the spiritual one, is something which means more than I still realize. I haven't exactly figured out what that means, but somehow I feel like I'm connected to it on a deeper level. All right, Primitivo. Paul, who's Primitivo?
Primitivo is of the first generation. He's significantly, he's probably one of the older people there. And he's a scavenger who is one of the few people that does cross the river and goes foraging for things, whether it's sometimes building materials or particular food items, that kind of stuff. And he worries about the river carrying away our soil, carrying away our, the erosion that is inevitably part of living on an island in a river that sometimes flows rather quickly. And yes, I think that's most of it.
Brian? Anibal?
Yes. Anibal is also first generation, older, a clean-cut healer of bodies and minds. He was also affected by the drug war a great deal. It's the cause of his pain. He's prone to occasional outbursts, and sometimes he drinks a little too much because he is the keeper of the still, which he uses for, mostly for cleaning instruments and things of that nature. But it's alcohol. And he also he misses the world probably a little bit more than a lot of the people do, which he keeps to himself most of the time. He misses the tools and the medicine and the entertainments and smoking, things like that. And that's Anibal.
Okay. Nice.
All right, Sabina.
So I've got Hector. He is the protector. He was very young when the people went to the jungle. He was 8 years old. I think he was pretty scared back then when the whole drug war was really happening. Maybe he lost somebody too. And now he has vowed to do everything in his power to protect the heart from those drug guys and everything that endangers it. And he also crosses the river from time to time just to see if...
Sabina, can you already
Yes?
rejoin? We don't understand you.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I will try. I'm sorry.
Let's see.
Hello there. I'm back. Do you hear me
Much better.
better? It's
Yep.
better? Okay, great. So I don't know what you heard of what I said.
Not really.
Okay, so Xray was a pretty young kid when his family went away from the village or the town where they came from. He has bad memories about the drug war and what happened back then, and he's pretty afraid that this will happen, and he is about to protect the heart from those drug people. He crosses the river to oversee some kind of traps and to watch out for strangers. He doesn't really want to leave, or he's pretty afraid of the outside world, really, but he won't tell that to anybody. He's a big guy, he's got a beard, and he's 28 years old.
Cool.
Nice. Yes. So, when people talk to you about safety, yes.
Yes.
So, like Aziza and Primitivo have a relationship somehow together. Can we also bring Hector and maybe Anibal together, or in any other kind of relationship? I see you are interestingly very nicely in between the generations, right? With your age.
Yeah. I don't know. He was a kid when he was brought there, so maybe Anibal was his foster parent because he lost his real parents, something like that.
Yeah, sure. And I appreciate your role in the heart. I also fear the effects of the drug war and of it coming back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't fear the outside world probably the way you do, but
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate your looking out for strangers. The more time we spend in our compound, the less we want outsiders showing up. Probably.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
I'm a bit worried about your drinking habits.
That's very possible.
But I also kind of appreciate you're still, so I'm a bit torn about that. I think it's a great idea to let loose sometimes, but not always.
Yeah, we try to use it mostly for events.
Event, that's fine.
Yeah.
Events is fine, but I think I'm growing to see that the whole. I'm growing to find it more and more of a danger kind of a source of danger, but I haven't said anything yet.
Okay.
During the first age, it was maybe kind of okay, but I think we could have a little conflict there. But we haven't had it yet. I haven't said anything yet. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Good.
Nice. Welcome, new member to the compound. Although we don't take any new members, you were already there, so you should also know about our customs and traditions and our words and everything. However, there's one mechanical element we need to clarify just quickly. The cards, like you have always on your hand, you have 3 cards, and Toma had 3 cards. You could simply take them over. You could have a look at them. If you say, well, one of them I would definitely had not picked because we freely picked them from the list, then simply replace them with one from the H2.
think I have to copy them into Word. I can't read them.
You can. What we do is you copy them into the other spreadsheet, into the other drawings, and there they are larger automatically because I shrink them to that size to fit them all on the page. But the original size is large enough to read them.
Okay.
But you can also use Word for sure. Yeah. Yeah, you can also do that secretly in the background, changing colors.
Oh,
the randomness of this game is not the most important part for us. The randomness of the rules.
No.
It's just you should have 2 cards from H1 and 1 card from H2 at this point in time. Actually, at the end of each age, each of us can replace, when they want, 1 card with one of the new age. So we could all replace a card. However, I feel happy, for example, with the words I have. The longer the ages transition, the more action cards come into play, like cards which don't introduce new words but modulate already created words, for example, or make things more complicated, that the order of words is changed and stuff like that. So it's like a little bit of a tutorial how we go through the game. All right. So maybe each of us could explain one of the words we have introduced, and one of us has to explain 2 words. So there was one word which is a swear word we have. It's wrapped, or this is so wrapped, with capital letters REP. And that's a result because we were highly disappointed from the representatives we had once elected to change our lives. So when the job became more dire, the representatives were the ones who betrayed us. And so if something is wrapped, it's like these people at that time. It's so wrapped. Yeah. So it goes in the same manner as it's fucked. Yeah. Fucked up. Yeah. Paul, do you also want to introduce a word?
Sure. I think I will take I'll take the worry, which we've taken from the river, and like if something is being carried along by the river, then it doesn't so much cause a ripple. We say she has ripples, or I feel the ripples. But if something is stuck, the water ripples around it, and it becomes an obstruction to that flow. And so that's why we chose that. So that worry is to have ripples.
Yes, you sometimes have them, right? That's how it happens.
Exactly.
Brian, your choice, which you want to explain.
I will try to explain our special occasion, the Ami Ami Ran. So this is a time during the winter when we don't have as many food sources normally available to us. And if I get this wrong, guys, please correct me. But during this time, we look forward to and expect a fish run, kind of like a salmon run. Where a great number of fish come up the river for a change to spawn, and they are a beautiful. I think it was like a purplish, silverish fish. And the word originally came from amaranth, which I think was the actual color that corresponded. And it just sort of became this sort of word that combines friendship and plenty and motion.
Okay.
Yeah, amaranth was this color, right? Yeah, of this fish. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to add to that?
I think that's good. Yeah,
I think
I remember. I remember the scene when there was this shouting suddenly, Amaranth! Yeah, and while Asisa and Primitivo were in a kind of sad conversation at the same time, because there was a tree which didn't have any berries anymore, and only the berries were the resource to produce blue colors. So then we have a very special word because the pronunciation, the way you say it, is so important, and that's like that. We have this leader, a former cartel leader, a woman. Don't have her name right now in place, but like she also became our spiritual leader and has given this whole compound, the heart, the more spiritual aspects. And so this is why this belongs to this return to home. Being in a river means that there's something floating around us the whole time. So we are stuck in one place. So it's like a vertical axis. And this axis comes from the sky and goes deep into the ground. And so this is what connects us. And death is something constant when the flow stops. And so we have a word which somehow, with the way it is said, summarizes everything what is behind this philosophy. And it's like an orm, but it's thorn. Yeah. Well, when we said this together, it was very beautiful. I can't really say it just alone. Maybe we have an opportunity in the game to say it again together. I very much hope so.
Okay.
Thorn. It connects us. And we said so when after somebody in the compound in the heart died. All right. So this is somehow the summary from last time. However, things are changing now, and maybe I can ask Paul again to read it for us when he might be ready from his allergy.
Thank you. I will.
Do you want me to copy it into the sheet? Is that, and you can read it there, or do you have
the document is up, but it takes. I have problems with Google Docs, so yeah.
Oh yeah. So I copied the Google Drawings text into the drawings. Yeah,
I see it. So this is the transition to the second age.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We had no choice. The compound would have collapsed without their help. We let an outsider in. We thought we could control it, but they have the ear of someone important. Why have some suggested we should bring in more?
Oh.
That's the first thing we need to discuss now. So what kind of outsider could that be? Anybody, any idea why we let them in? I think that goes to Anibal and to Primitivo and Hector, the two who go outside, right?
Mm. So maybe some sort of builder?
When it's floating away, yeah.
Or or in thinking about that scene about the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Builder, but more specifically, maybe an engineer, someone that might be able to help build an actual retaining wall, like a seawall, or something
to prevent
like that.
the erosion.
Yeah, or at least lessen it.
Mm.
So some sort of civil engineer.
Yeah,
maybe.
Maybe some sort of environmentalist engineer guy, someone who came to us because he wanted maybe to get away from society, and that's why we took him in.
Yeah.
And he wants to do it with the right way, not just pour some concrete on everything.
Yeah, that works. Yeah, you're roboting again, Sabine.
Oh, no, again, damn it.
I wish.
I have the feeling that that we get such a specialist in here. I think it was more kind of an active decision that we said, we have this one friend who didn't join us. We can trust them that they don't tell anybody else about us, and we could send an agent there to ask them to join. So it was like an active process of getting them in, and still it's very worrying that we do that.
Yeah. Is there a plan to stay, or is there a plan to move along?
I
guess we'll find out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my suggestion was, Sabine, that we maybe proactively brought that person in because he was a good friend at the time 20 years ago.
Okay.
And because we just urgently need the skill and there's no other choice. And so we send somebody into civilization. And I would say this could have been Hector. It could have been
maybe.
Primitivo as well.
I think Primitivo would work even better because he is connected to the whole scarcity thing and the river aspect.
Oh, that's true. And he would actually know this person personally, maybe.
Correct.
Because of his age.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
I am good with that.
Okay. Great.
Shall we give that person a name?
We should.
Should.
We have already a lot of men. I think another woman would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to think of
What about Surunda? I write it in the document and in the Hangout chat. Surunda.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So engineer person. Yeah. So they have the ear of someone important. So by definition, all characters here are important, not necessarily in terms of their power. Does anybody from us want to be in that position of defending that person? Or would you, otherwise we still have our leader.
Let's see. Well, I'd say Primitivo is probably positive towards her. But I'd be willing to say that Anibal is, very excited to have this new female engineer arrive with word of the outside, and a fresh trove of stories to tell. And so, yeah, I would probably be very pro Surunda.
Okay.
Yes. You miss the world sometimes. Oh, yes. Perfect, yeah.
And a carton of cigarettes.
Yes.
So the last question is, why have some suggested we should bring in more?
Oh, in addition to Surunda?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Naturally, it would be like the younger generation says, we're bored here, the 200 people who live here and so on, I know them all, but I think Aziza is definitely not in favor of having more people in.
No, nor is Hector.
Yeah.
But I think some of the younger people, or even of the older people, I like to be reminded of the world they left behind, or of the world they never knew, because it's always the same 200 people, and now there's this stranger, and it's so exciting, and she isn't a drug lord.
Not to forget, we are now reaching the age, the founders, that they get all this age sicknesses, right? Like blood pressure and sugar stuff and so on. And when now Surunda is telling us that there have been solutions out there, like medicaments and everything, could it be health, which is like the main reason that people say 20 years and we are isolated from that advancement?
Yeah, I think that's a definite possibility. I worry sometimes about what's going to happen. I mean, I think that we established in the first session that I do some work with Aziza in terms of caring for people, but I have all the medical knowledge right now, and I haven't really been able to pass it on in a comprehensive way. And what's going to happen if, you know, I have a heart attack or something falls on me one day and I'm not around anymore? You know, maybe in addition to the engineer, we need a backup doctor.
Yeah, but Paul, do you want to modify that somehow? Do you feel?
I'm pretty good with that, actually. I mean, all of these reasons are legit reasons, and I don't see. We could both have novelty and utility reasons, and that some advocate for that. So I'm good with it.
Sounds good, like a good start into H2.
Nice.
And I just without asking, I wrote down Anibal is a bit in love with Sugunda. But that's just my assumption. That doesn't need to be true. It's how much looks like. All right, good. I think then we are ready for following the procedures for a turn. Like everybody's taking a turn, is introducing one new word or construct. So now we also have action cards in play. And the action cards, they describe in detail what happens instead of the normal turn order. The normal turn order, just to repeat, it's we first pick a card, but the active player picks a card and makes a connection to one of the aspects. And then we take all the time to discuss how the concept on the card and the aspect could be brought together, what relates them, what caused this change. And only afterwards, we discuss what kind of word we would like to build. And everybody can make suggestions, but the player whose turn it is makes the final decision. It's their turn. And in the procedures document, there are also examples on how to create new words, like repurpose an existing one, combining words, use an acronym, and so on and so forth. Yeah, we can go through that again then when we are there. So, but first of all, let's say I make my turn first, and then we can go around in clockwise order from the cards. So I have on my hand friend, a filler word, and a new ritual. And I'm excited about a new ritual, which could become relevant due to the new arrival. So the new ritual is: with the passage of time, our routines change. A new daily ritual has become common in the isolation. Define the new ritual and name it. So it's a little bit more than a word, it seems. So I think I don't want to connect it to the new arrival, but it's something which has developed already in the meantime. It's not directly affected. So I think the new ritual is something I connect to the return to home, because I still want to understand better the spiritual aspects of our life. So it's a new ritual and the return to home. So the return to home was something like we live in nature and we gave up on purpose all the advantages civilization has and returned to a much more simpler life. But that also brings with it that everything takes more time to do. And maybe it can be related to that we just have more time than normal people. We don't rush to work. We don't look at our watches all the time and say it's too late and I only have 5 minutes and whatever. That's not how our life works. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, so something sort of time related, and that indicates maybe the fact that our pace is much slower than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, let me think.
It's a daily ritual. Yeah. So where modern people, at least in the West, don't have time for. Something which is like superficial enough, and still we appreciate to have time for doing that. Something like cleaning or a special kind of, yeah.
What about like in the morning, we all sort of amble over to the well to get water, and it's a chance to talk and catch up with people that maybe our jobs don't overlap. You know, I'm in my building most of the time, and maybe a word for this getting of the water.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just an idea.
I love it. Yeah, and we take. Sorry, Paul. Yeah.
What is the ritual aspect of that?
I was just having the image of that we come just with a small cup, that we don't make it effective. We don't get big buckets so that we only have to go once, but in the morning we all come and get one cup of water.
So more like how we used to get our coffee.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's a longer walk. We could have it easier. We could have it faster. We could ask others to bring it for us, but we all go there? Or would you see it more ritualistic, Paul? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was just taking the word literally, but I'm fine with that. I think if it's maybe along with that, sort of a rite of passage has developed, that at a certain age you carve your own cup.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So that this is an extension. This daily thing is an extension of a ritual that has moments where it injects into our lives at different points.
Yeah. Oh yes. And it's gone one day. Cool. I'm happy with that. And now we have to play a scene with it. Sabine, do you want to add?
Just yeah. How would we make a cup? Is that the ritual of the rite of passage, that somebody gets a cup, his own cup, because he's now considered a grown-up, or is it just this morning we go to the well and talk? And
can you rejoin again?
Yeah, cool.
I don't know if it makes any difference. I dropped my signal strength to the lowest point. I don't know if we all did that. I don't know. I feel like my video is still pretty decent.
And there I am.
There you
and
are.
You're clear. Yeah.
Okay, nice and clear. Let's see how long. What I was saying is that I don't get what getting the cup means. Is this the ritual of the rite of passage that Paul suggested, that somebody gets his own cup and now is a grown-up, or is it just this, we go to the well and get a cup of water because it's, I don't know.
The card says it's a daily ritual. So okay. I brought up, the card says it is a daily ritual.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So
it's the daily, we go and talk.
Right. And I was just adding, I was adding something to tie it back into sort of a more cultural context.
Okay.
I love it. I think we can easily diffuse this ritual into other areas of life. And the cup with which we go, and I think it's also the same cup. Like all of us, we have the same cup. It's like pottery. And, so people also hold this cup close to them. And the ritual aspect is like getting with this cup, a cup of water every morning.
Okay.
All right. So
before we go into scene, Garrett, just because I finally, the procedures document finally scrolled down, so I was in the right place.
Yeah.
The thing I didn't say out loud when I read that is that this is the event, bringing in an outsider, is something that specifically foreshadows the end of our compound, the end of our way of life. And it also says, and this is why I said I jumped in before we got into a scene, it also says that that makes its way into every conversation.
Yeah, very important. Yeah, and impossible to ignore. Yeah. So the new rhythm of our days is the story prompt on the card. So for sure, the talk of the day, I think we should have a scene in the days after the arrival of Zorunda, and like her big success she had already with helping us. So it seems like a good thing, but like everybody inside knows that this is changing everything. That somehow could play into the scene. So the new rhythm of our days. I don't understand exactly what I should do with the new rhythm, the new thing. So Zorunda is there, and she has, I would say, she has also like at the dwell. She has already changed that. There is something like a water pump, a very simple wooden mechanical pump, but it wasn't a skill which was around while we were there. And so we are opening this pump today. And all of us are there, all the characters, and the scene is only over after each of us has somehow showed how their character are related to the getting a cup of water ritual, this morning ritual, getting there every morning.
Do we need a specific word or phrase that describes this daily, social getting of the water?
Saying getting a cup, like, yeah, in some sense, yeah. Or anti-related can also be the case, right? We can also ignore that actively. So Aziza is not coming this morning to the ritual because she's not sure yet what she thinks of this. So I'm standing at the back. I'm getting very close, and every step I'm coming closer, you can see how Aziza is getting slower and slower and slower, and finally she stops with the cup in her hand. She was ready to get a cup, but now she's hesitating. She sees Zorunda standing there, and there's Zaira, the leader of the compound, and they are opening this pump, and there are several people getting their first cups of water, and I just stop. I don't know what I shall do, what is going on here. Yeah, you can all still see me, but I'm just still in the back.
So I think, may I?
Yeah.
Yes,
please.
I think Hector will walk up to her and just stand next to her. You can see that he's hesitant as well. He has his cup with him, and he says something like, "This sound doesn't feel like getting the cup." That's what he says to Aziza.
Yeah, right. It's not as it was used to be.
This is pumping the cup, not getting the cup.
Yeah. But I understand. It makes it easier, like especially for the older people.
Well, yeah, but it used to be us younger people got the cup for the older ones out of the well, so it was a point of, where we did something for somebody else. I like that, kind of,
Yeah.
Look, go ahead.
There's Anibal coming.
Yeah, maybe I'll see your reluctance to approach, to engage in the daily ritual, and to see, the leader is there, the outsider is there, and I'll just I don't know exactly what you guys are talking about, but I'll just say, hey, there's nothing to worry about. Nothing has changed. It's just we're the island, the heart is safer since the engineer arrived, and now, if anything, it's easier to get a cup at any time of the day. Even for our oldest members, it'll be much easier. So rest easy. Don't worry about this is still our daily thing that we all do. Don't worry about it. And I'll kind of make a bit of a show of going up there and not being afraid, and getting a cup, and then kind of accidentally messing it up because, you know, I pumped too hard on the pump and it totally overflows. And I'm like, well, you get the idea, you know, I'm going to walk away.
Oh.
I think that Primitivo is not thinking about it much yet. Not at the top of his brain, right? He's pondering it inside. So he goes and everything is basically fine. He goes, he fills his cup. Having watched Anibal, he is a little less enthusiastic so that the cup doesn't overflow. But when he turns to walk back through the crowd to join Aziza, you know, if there was a camera coming from his perspective, he notices that one of the young ones, the 15 or 16-year-olds, instead of the pottery cup that we all use, is holding one of those metal camping mugs.
Oh.
And
Nice.
And there's only one place that could have come from. So you kind of would see from his perspective him kind of panning across the crowd as he's walking back towards Aziza and seeing this one of these things is wrong moments. And I don't think I need a verbal reaction to that. I think I'll just describe the camera shot and let that be its thing.
Yeah, cool.
I like that.
Look, now he got the ripples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to understand and to learn, and we will find our way. This is not. That doesn't mean it's the end of the heart. Things are changing. It's normal, like the seasons.
Exactly.
One, and there we go.
Okay. I can see on Hector's face that he is not very enthusiastic about the whole idea of things changing.
Right.
All right. Then the next player's turn is Paul.
Nice.
I delete that card and draw a new one from age 2. From age 3 now. No, age 3. Yes.
Nice.
So
Cavalry. Ooh.
Oh, cool.
after 20 years, Outlet of Civilization mobile phone would be totally new, but it wasn't invented yet in 2003. Well, it was, but not the touch screen. The Nokia is.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't want to disturb the turn order. First, the connection.
So, well, I think I was muted while I read that out loud, but that's okay.
You were, yes.
Oh well, was everybody able to read it?
Yeah, I thought you were just thinking. Yeah.
No, I was declaiming.
Okay.
On mute. So if it were to be, I don't know, what do you think about what is something new that we could discover after 20 years?
I would say first say which aspect you wanted.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's right.
That reduces the possibilities a little bit.
So I'm thinking, well, let's take it to the river. Because for Primitivo, hope being somehow related to the river would be an unexpected place. Because he acknowledges what the river does for us, but it still feels like it's washing away our lives, even though. So maybe it could literally be some piece of technology that that Sarunda brought to us. It could be whatever enabled her to build the retaining wall in a way that doesn't, affect our lifestyle too much.
Yeah. It would be especially nice if it's something which was discovered in the 90s.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I'm really not such a construction worker. Which makes it much easier to be immersive in this case.
It could also be that we have. I'm thinking of other discoveries. If it was something about ourself that was related to the river, it could be that we discovered that we've developed immunity or resistance to some sort of parasite that Sarunda doesn't have.
Oh yes.
Oh.
And that's and we know that because she gets sick,
right?
And none of us have, and I think that would put Anibal smack in the center of that moment.
Oh yes. Oh, that's so brilliant because
I like that.
Imagine what happens when news spread that we have this immune thing, which might revolutionize medicine outside of the compound.
Right. What if our blood could be used as a serum against this parasite? That would definitely draw some attention.
Oh,
right.
Yeah, that's right. We smack in the middle of another drug war, only we're the drug.
Oh man.
So we should think about maybe how we want to refer to this thing.
Yeah.
Well, it could be something very practical, like dengue or something like.
Well, but the discovery of so it's kind of our immunity that we're.
Yeah.
That we're naming, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, this a kind of disease which is very prominent, and like Sarunda immediately gets it at the river, and all of us didn't.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe it's some kind of word we use for our health.
Or a specific fly which was around the health, yeah.
Or maybe we just think that it was the water of the river which we have drunk from a long time, and that's what we think is the protection.
That would make some sense.
Or it's a specific fish we eat or something like that.
Yeah, I think my first impulse was to think about the word for the sickness she got, and we don't. But this might be more interesting to find a word for our health, like our resistance, our immunity.
Well, because that is the discovery. The discovery
Yes.
isn't the disease. The discovery is our immunity.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, if it's dangle, we would be undangeable. So you can easily transform that into something.
I love that.
But that's very unpoetic.
I frankly don't mind that at all. Undangeable.
Cool. Yeah.
Because it's like, I could easily see that being one of those things where we're like, it could literally be our four characters sitting around having this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know. What do you think we should call it? I don't know. What do you think we should call it? And then some 13-year-old walks past and overhears just enough to say, "Undangeable."
So we're undangeable. If Daddy was still with us, he could make a song about that.
I like it. Undangeable.
Hope in an unexpected place.
Yeah. Great.
So I would like to put Anibal and Primitivo in a scene sort of at the bedside of Surunda.
Okay.
Because I'm assuming that he's treating her in whatever fashion he is able.
Right.
And let's say that at the moment she is unconscious. So she's a prop. I don't really necessarily need to have an NPC speaking in the scene.
Okay.
But I've come to check on the status because I'm the one that physically brought her to this place, and I feel some level of responsibility.
All right. Yeah, I probably have a very simple, IV going to keep her hydrated. It's one of the few things maybe that we still have left is some glass bottles and some plastic tubing. I can see that you're worried. I can see that you're concerned. And she's sick. She's very sick, but I think she's going to be okay. There may be something we can do, maybe connected with our immunity that might somehow help her with this. I'm still working on that. But I mean, do you understand like the ramifications of this, Primitivo? Like we are immune to the dengue fever. Like this is just amazing. Is it the heart that causes our immunity? Is it the river? What?
And it is such a gift, but it also has a sting in the tail, right? It gives me ripples to think about if the outside world finds out about it. It could become the focus of much attention, but yet I think it's also, do you understand what gives me joy? It means that we are in fact a people, right? There is something that we all have innately in common that others don't.
Absolutely.
And that gives me hope that when we left we've started to achieve what we set out to do, which was to bring ourselves together as a people.
Yeah, I agree. As far as we know, we are unique in this, in the world. We've done something right, Primitivo, is what that tells me. And I also think our decision to bring in Sudunda was a good decision. We wouldn't even have realized how lucky we were. I of course did not want her to get sick. I would not wish that upon anybody, but we wouldn't have realized our uniqueness as a people and how lucky we are if she had not come to help us with the erosion problem. So perhaps it's all connected.
Yes, I can only hope so.
Yeah, I think it's a good place for the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be longer than that.
Nice. A little graphic.
Thank you for the scene. Yeah.
I am here but off camera because I have to do things that will make me look ugly.
Okay, understood. Actually, this might be a good time. I think Sabina, you were roboting again too. It might be a good time for you to.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Okay.
and if you want to try, I mean, obviously we like to see you, but if you want to try reconnecting without video, you might last longer.
Okay, I'll try. But
Okay.
today,
Keep our fingers crossed. Some people have said they've had some success with that.
so I've turned off my camera.
Okay,
Maybe that will help.
here's hoping.
Yeah, well, it's very bad today. It's not usually that bad.
Oh, nice and clear now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's my turn, I think.
Yes.
So what do we do? Let me have a look at these things. I really like this one. And I really want to use it. Put it out there and we can all think about it.
Yeah.
I like the portmanteau,
Yes.
which is something that is a lot easier in German, but I like the idea of connecting to words or a phrase or something. No, it's really two words. So what kind of words do we have here? So I thought about it's changed too fast to come for some. So I think it's maybe when you skip the getting a cup in the morning, some people will call it either a ripple cup or a rep cup. So it's something that those people who aren't really who don't really like the change, say, of people who are really changing the whole morning ritual. So would that be okay? Or does anybody have a better idea?
I would say that sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm down with it.
If it was in German, it would be much longer, but
I might.
Well,
Yeah, Becher. Yeah, it's longer.
but I think that's great.
Yeah. Okay.
It might be longer. So, but so it was, the idea was
that if you skip. Oh, okay. I'll go. Oh, I want to connect it to something, and I think I will connect it to the fact to the return to home because it's connected to the ritual, actually.
Yeah.
So this is the aspect I will use. Oh, it was an action. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be connected to. Sorry, I was also rushing.
You're writing my word. Okay, yeah, but it's a rep cup. That's what people say when somebody breaks rituals or does something new
Too fast,
and
or, yeah.
too fast. Something that's just too fast is a good point, because the whole getting a cup thing was about we have enough time, we don't have to hurry, and if somebody gets a rep cup, it's just he comes in, takes the water, rushes out to do some engineering stuff, and that's well, yeah, doing things too fast. Yeah. That's just a rep cup. And I think well, the guy who has, I think I would like to have a scene with Anibal, if that would be all right, because
Sure.
he was the one who really liked the whole pump thing.
Oh yeah.
And I think we can see when these two are at the pump, and Hector, he's just standing there and he isn't using the pump. He hasn't yet. He's just getting his cup the old-fashioned way.
Okay. Yeah, and I could be, I could have a good reason for being in a hurry. Maybe I'm running to, Sarunda is feeling better, and I'm running to get, some more water for her. But that, you don't know what my reasons are, and it may clash with what you have in mind, right? So, you're at the well, patiently getting your cup, and I come running up with 2 cups, a metal camping cup and my ceramic cup, and I'm like, hello, Hector, good morning, and I'm very quickly, filling these 2 cups.
Oh yeah, Hector looks at you, and when you were finished with the first one, he just says, Anibal, I don't know, this seems not like you're getting a cup, seems like you're getting a rep cup or something. I don't know.
Does this have something to do with the well, with the pump? Is it that you still don't like the pump? Is that what this is about?
I don't like that you're hurrying. I don't like that people are hurrying. You're not the first. Little Felipe, he was just in and out, and he was coming with a bucket. I don't know. We used to have time for one another.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Anibal has to sees your point. Maybe you're right. Maybe a rep cup is like having no cup at all, and I'll dump mine out and slowly refill it, and give you a cheers.
Yeah, I'll give a cheers back, but you can't see it right now.
Thank you. That was good.
Yeah, Anibal seems a little beruhigt. Damn it. Pacified is the wrong word. Calmed is the wrong word. Well,
relaxed.
Relaxed. Yeah, he's relaxing. He's not as tense anymore.
Right.
Eased. Yeah.
Eased. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a word for what I'm looking for, but I don't know it. Reassured. That's what I was looking for. Reassured.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
It's actually kind of funny. I used to, when I first started working in technology, I never had enough time for anything, and I would run to the coffee area, and I could drink a cup of steaming hot coffee in 30 seconds. And I used to have this guy that would just be like, what even is the point? Like, we come here because this is our morning break. Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, but I think that's the scene.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
good
good.
thing. Yeah. I think I
Okay.
understood the concept. However, I discovered that I forgot an important part of the rules.
Uh-oh.
It's still not too late, and I think it's something which happens intuitively anyway, which is like when you enter a new age, we agree on changing one of the aspects. So we rewrite it slightly. It's a little bit like a fate aspect, which you rewrite after a milestone. So it doesn't change completely, but it has like we freed ourselves from the terror of the drug war, and it changes into the drug war is still there, and we are still in safety, are we, or something like this. So it changes slightly the wording. It doesn't change it completely. So this is something we should maybe discuss before Paul is ending the second age.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the drug war is still out there, maybe.
Yeah.
And did we really we freed ourselves from the effects of the drug war, but the terror is still with us, right? Like, if anything, we've probably increased the fear through our stories and our...
Yeah, we've probably mythologized it.
Yeah.
I rewrote it in that sense. Does that make sense for everybody? I should. And the old aspect and the words attached to it, they stay in H1 from the terror of the drug war. Yeah, so it's wrapped. It's still connected to the old aspect. All the other aspects, they move together with the concepts attached to them to the next age. So I have done that already. I've changed a little bit the layout of our things. And now it's Paul's turn to introduce a last concept.
I thought I did that.
Oh, no, Paul did so already. Oh, sorry, it's Brian's.
Brian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was going into the wrong clockwise, the other clockwise thing.
Okay, let's see if I can...
Sorry.
What lies outside? How we refer to the world outside of the isolation. What memories and emotions does it evoke inside of us? We remember things differently. Yeah, so this would be a word that we use when we're talking about the outside world.
So which aspect do you attach it to?
I want to attach this to aspect 3. Return to home. And I think my thought is that the word might have a slightly negative sound or connotation to it.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's time again, especially for aspect 3, for something which is very much based on the sound of it. Yes, I totally agree. So it could be, again, like zone, something which is not necessarily based on a real word.
Right.
I was thinking about, like, we are not completely outside of the world because of the radio waves and stuff like that. So actually, if someone had a radio, we could still listen to some sounds. Maybe not clear because we're so far away, but the waves around us, which is also something around the river, which, like, it's the same concept.
Yeah.
There's still transmission around us.
And as you said, not combining the things that have been said so far, if you want to focus on the sound, and we're thinking about the radio waves and the fact that we are distant, so any reception would be generally poor. Think about a way to sort of mimic the sound of static.
Yeah.
Something like that in a radio broadcast.
And then you turn it off.
Yeah.
It fades away.
That's right.
Yeah. I think what Sabine was doing is pretty close to.
Yeah.
So something like shh.
Yes.
Like a shushing noise almost.
Yeah, almost, but with the K in front of it. That's exaggerated.
Yeah. How could we try to spell that out in a way that we could say it?
Well, in German, I knew how to do that. I think that your native speakers have to do it.
Well, that's okay. Yeah, try typing it into chat. How would you do it in German?
Oh, the German, is like with
Oh,
it's
yeah,
late,
that makes
right?
sense, actually.
Yeah.
I would add one suggestion since it seems to be extended. So we'll do it. We'll do it without the. We don't need the C, unless you want it. But
No. More S's.
So I would think like something like that to indicate that it's a. And I like the K.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's a slightly less common phoneme than the T. So I think it appeals. It makes it sound like a neologism, like a new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. I
Cool.
get it in.
In English, it would be. I mean, it's that combination of sounds, the ksh sound. We get in the middle of words a lot, but don't almost never have at the beginning of a word. So that also makes it sound novel.
Outside.
Also makes it sound novel. And
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, very cool.
What memories and emotions does it evoke inside of us? Yeah, I'm looking forward to hear that in the scene.
Yeah. I think maybe I'm feeling pretty happy now that Sarunda has gotten over her fever, and I'm having some celebratory sterilization shots.
I think we called it event juice last time.
Yes, event juice. Sampling some of the event juice. And I think maybe it'd be fun if Aziza came in, who helps out sometimes in the infirmary, and flush from this medical victory. I'm feeling like Dr. House at this point for basically Sarunda probably mostly getting over it herself. And you can tell that obviously I've been having some of the event juice, and I just start telling all these stories about what's out there and how it used to be, and I'm waxing super philosophical about the music was everywhere all the time, and how does Aziza feel about that?
I'm just standing there in the corner and looking at you from left to right. Anibal, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm just I'm just thinking about, you know, I make sort of a outside motion.
I'm not sure. I realize you to be in here. Are you feel like you are like? Are you already out there in your mind?
Yeah, maybe I am. Maybe you're right. I don't mean to scare you or give you the wrong feeling. You know, we
No
all
ripples
belong
about
alone.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes the shit just, you know, gets in my head, I think. And
Yeah.
you know, who needs it? And I'll set my event shoes down.
You don't sound so convinced. Don't ripple about me.
Yeah.
You can talk openly with me. I'm there for you if you need me.
You know, well, you know, everybody knows I miss the things sometimes. The medicine, you know, what if Sarunda had died? That would have been, I would have felt so terrible. And out there, you know, even though it is Ksh, it still has things. So,
Yeah.
you know,
This doesn't leave you. You can't leave it behind, right? It's still there.
it's still there.
With you. Yeah. We from the younger generation, we have a different perspective, and for us, the whole is totally wrapped. We never needed it. Not like you. You actively said, "Let's go." We were here already when we were born. That makes it different, and I think it's important for the older here to understand that. Give us a chance to sustain the world we are. Having Surunda here, like the whole, it's like everything feels. I'm getting my cup, and it doesn't feel right anymore. Please be aware that we are here together. I want to have many, many Ami runs again with all of you.
These are wise words, Aziza, and please, you know, no ripples. It'll be a few more years before we stand around and talk about San in relation to my prone body.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a good scene.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you. So now we have reached the end of age 2.
All right.
And we can do it like at the end of last session. We could read the text for the third age together and then have a break. Does that sound good?
Okay. Yep.
Okie doke. Make sure I'm not muted. I am not muted.
You're not muted. Age 3.
I am going. Age 3, what was foreshadowed has come to pass. The end of the isolation is near. There is no escaping it. A schism is formed. A group insists on letting more outsiders in. Some take this as the ultimate betrayal. How do they fight against the movement, and why are they doomed to fail?
Right. Something to think about. And then we decide which aspect has developed because of that. And then each of us has one last turn before we end the legacy. But first of all, let's see each other again at 35.
Okay, sounds
Okay.
Yeah, all this talk of cups has got me needing coffee immediately. So
Same here. See you then.
Okay, bye. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
So do you have snow too?
What's that?
Do you have? Paul mentioned that there was snow where he's at.
Oh shoot! It lasted for a long time, but I think you're breaking up again.
Oh, okay. I'll come back.
Okay, we'll be here.
Okay.
So,
And I'm back.
Yay!
And I'm hopefully a little better. I was asking about snow. I know Garrett doesn't have any snow.
Oh, yeah, no, none there. We had a lot. 2 weeks ago we had a lot of snow. Then last week we had extremely high winds.
Oh. Ooh. Yeah. Well.
Of freezing, which is nice.
Mm.
And the sun is out today, so you know, I'm super happy I don't live on the East Coast.
Yeah, DC got hit fairly hard, but not as badly as they were thinking.
Oh, good.
Okay, that's good.
So
no apocalypse.
Right.
In my neighborhood is still walkable if I have to go out, which is good.
Great.
Good.
Cool.
Oh man.
All right. So a schism has formed.
Oh yeah.
I think that's pretty obvious, right? It's like this. Should we get an update or not? From outside.
Yeah.
Never change the running system. Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. But it's obvious what a tough decision that is. If somebody is sick or has somebody dear to them and they are sick and they could have some technology out there helping them, that's a really tough choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Brian, it looks like you need to pick a card from age 3.
Okay. Let's see.
Nothing. Yeah. And so, but in this question, some take this as the ultimate betrayal. How do they fight against this movement, and why are they doomed to fail? So, who of us belongs to the group of ultimate betrayal? So, I think Aziza is not, like, because I'm more of a keeping a balance. Like, I want everybody to get along. I'm the innocent.
Oh. I think Hector wants things to stay the way they were. I think that's pretty clear by now. He doesn't want any change. Change is bad. Blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anibal is probably, more in favor of letting some more folks in.
Yeah.
I think Primi is probably on the fence. I think he sees the danger, but also the necessity. And so there's, he may even try to be a mediator at some points.
Yeah. So Hector and the others, like Primitivo and Aziza, somehow as well. So how do we fight letting others in? It seems that we let others in still. So we might now also have like.
I have an idea for why it's inevitable.
Yeah.
Which is maybe that we're not aware of it, or maybe not all of us are aware of it, but I think Sarunda brought a satellite phone.
Okay.
The big.
And so in there, and has maybe told someone on the outside about this undingable thing.
Right. And are we also supposed to change one of the aspects again, or is that only?
Yeah.
Yes.
And, I mean, yeah, I think the return to home makes most sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the river can also change. Not that it runs around us, but what that means to us. But I think the return to home is the more evocative.
Yeah.
And it could be as simple because it changes the emphasis significantly if it just becomes, this is our home.
Oh yeah.
Because that could mean to some people we have the right to invite others into it, and it could mean to others, only that it's a place to protect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What does it mean, our home? So this is our home.
Does it have to be the emphasis on our? I was thinking just maybe this is home without the our, because it can be home to other people than us.
I think that disambiguifies, that makes it less ambiguous, and therefore I don't think it applies to both sides of the argument if it doesn't have the our in it.
It could be home are also fleeing the drug war, because maybe some people say, hey, we got away, so why shouldn't we take others in?
Good. I think then we are ready.
So how are the fighters fighting against the movement?
Yeah, that's an important question. Hector.
Well, mostly by grumbling a lot and telling people that's not a good idea, and trying to dissuade people from staying, strangers, by, well, not making them feel very welcome. I think he's not trying to push them into the river or something, at least not yet. It depends how they behave. Maybe there is some sort of confrontation, actually. That might, but I would like to play to find that out.
Yeah.
Cool.
They're obviously doomed to fail because, because of that.
Yeah, well, you can't stay in the jungle forever. We will get eaten by the hippos. Anymore.
The cocaine hippos. Yeah.
The cocaine hippos.
That makes
I love that article about Pablo Escobar bringing in hippos into Colombia, and there are some that live in the jungle there.
Pablo's hippos. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But if you say once you say cocaine hippos, the hippos are terrifying enough to start off with, and then imagine one of them just absolutely ripped off their head on cocaine.
So fast.
That's pretty fast already.
Yeah.
Yes. That's.
Well.
Well, yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
So let's see if this is somehow influencing how we define our taboo now, because
oh yeah,
taboo as our next concept.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
action, so it doesn't follow the normal turn order. What was previously a common word is now only uttered in hushed tones or euphemism. And I shall make a connection, play on a previously defined word, explain why this word is now taboo.
Mhm.
Skip the build a word phase. In the conversation, explore the taboo. Oh.
Huh.
Whew. I'm pretty sure I shall make a connection to one of the words. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the conflict within the community. So we are now totally under tension and polarized about these new arrivals, and they are not welcomed. And I think it should be a word which is therefore not appropriate anymore because it brings one of the two groups on the fence. Yeah. And the is already kind of a taboo. We are not talking about specifics of the outside world, but just it out. So though this seems like an obvious choice, I would say it shouldn't. I think the rep cup is something which is becoming really too strong of a swear word because it very much means fucking outsiders by now.
Right.
They do things too fast. And using this word is a very strong insult. It becomes something like it's really, we don't welcome new people here. They are not welcome here.
Yeah.
And if you still use it, you make a strong statement against the newcomers, I would say.
Yeah, I think
Sabine, can you rejoin? I don't understand you anymore. Then we can.
it could be like if I'm understanding this correctly, kind of like after during the Reconstruction here in the South, it's to call somebody a Yankee is not a bad thing. It just means they're from the northeast coast of the United States. But to call them a carpetbagger implies that they are there taking advantage of you. It's like a whole different use of the language. So that might be kind of a similar feeling, like those, accusing somebody of, not getting a cup, but getting a rep cup. It kind of it clearly shows which side you fall on, right? As far as whether we should have the outsiders or not.
Yeah. Cool. I put a little taboo sticker on it.
I know, I love your graphics. It's great.
I can't help myself. All right. Is everybody happy with the tabooization of?
Yeah.
Red
Yes. Very much.
You good, Paul?
I'm down.
All right.
What was once common is the scene prompt may have outsiders in there, which usually it shouldn't. All right. So Aziza is in there, yes, for sure, and because she's the innocent, there's so much anger, and I'm very worried about this. So I definitely need Hector in there as one extreme. And I'm thinking about Anibal about the other extreme, but I think I would like to have Primitivo in there because then I have another person who somehow is like thinking back and forth.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Anibal is just the phantom in the back.
Okay.
And we had established in the setup, I think that was Tomer's, a wonderful place where we sit together.
Yeah.
That was the initial clearing, still has tree trunks and has become the union, the meeting place, the punto de reunión. housing and farming has moved on to better maintained areas. But this is like the place where we sit together and discuss. And I would say we have a fireplace there. It's by night. It's already late. And there's the outsiders who are already in are singing with those who welcome them. They are singing 90s pop songs with them and teaching them. So you can hear the laughter and everything from down there. And the three of us sit together here, and it's just the three of us at this moment. And yeah, we don't feel we should go there. We're sitting together here like for an hour or so, not saying anything, and now finally we start talking.
Okay.
Call him Mr. Vader. Call him Mr. Ron. Okay. Big lion. Well. Should we go? Should we finally go? Should we join them? Seems they have a lot of fun.
I don't know these songs. They're so fast. I don't know. I like Jaji's songs better.
Yeah.
I think Primitivo is like roasting a koipu or a nutria or whatever we would call it over the fire on a little spit. Just a little late night snack.
Yeah, it is good, but I think we are too harsh. We should give it a chance. Like, let's. Finally, we're all in here together. And they are all willing to adapt. I mean, they are not totally. You know what I mean. I don't want to. I don't want to put everything on against us for us, please.
Still, though, I mean, you say adapt, and yet have they learned any of Jaji's songs, or are they only teaching theirs?
Well, they're also getting their cup in the morning. They're not 100%. I mean, a little bit of care can't hurt, right? We've also changed. Come on, Hector.
Yeah. What? I don't get I get a normal cup in the morning, not whatever. Like they do. Like pump, pump, pump. I have a cup. Good morning. Goodbye.
But when you were a teenager, I was looking up to you, and I felt like you were doing things so differently. It's not that different. I mean, you were building these little riverboats. Nobody did that before.
Yeah.
Where's the difference?
The difference is that I took my time. I didn't rush. It's like the rush. It's all the same. I don't know. It's too much. That's what it is.
I know what you want to say, and
it feels like everything is changing. The songs, the morning. It's not good for a heart to beat so fast. I think that's what Anibal said.
Primitivo.
I can see the value in both sides of this argument. I mean, they've certainly brought more literal physical stability to the island. Anibal has actual antibiotics that he didn't have to grind from penicillin that he let grow, penicillin mold he let grow.
And our next army run has blue color again.
Which I know is deeply important. But just because the river is not physically washing away the island as it once did, doesn't mean that we aren't being eroded as well by a different sort of swift current. And I just wish to find us a middle way.
Yeah, and that's not insulting each other.
Well, I mean, sometimes it could be. I mean,
Sometimes.
there are many reasons to insult someone, and some of us, both new and old, deserve to be put in their place at times. But I and he just peters out. That was like I ellipsis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when he says that sometimes somebody should be insulted, you can see that Hector almost peaks up. Right? The idea that people should be insulted and should be put in their place.
Yeah.
Actually gives them an idea.
Sabine, can you rejoin again? We can't understand you.
It's kind of a fun sound, though, but
yeah,
a little chiptune thing going on.
Yeah. Yeah, Tyler Lominak had the same issue for a while. He told me. So, but the scene is over anyway, right? I would say. It's difficult to talk about taboos.
Yeah, I think we talked around it very well.
Yeah, I would say so.
The right thing to do.
Yeah. I was wondering if one of us would say it and the others were like, ooh, don't do that. But yeah, it's like, we have two Sabines now.
Oh, nice. No, the internet left me entirely.
Oh, okay.
So, I'll ignore myself. No, I don't. I don't know what will happen if I do. So what I was saying is that when Primitivo said something like some people need to be put in their place, that gives Hector some sort of idea.
Yeah. Cool.
Oh, ideas.
Ideas.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. Give an angry young man ideas about confronting other people and insulting them.
Yes.
I'm sorry about my connection. I don't know what it is today.
Yeah.
It's not usually that bad.
Yeah, I think this is why it's important at the beginning of the session to say it's okay to say please rejoin. It's not something against you. It's just
I know.
We want to listen to you.
I'll be right back.
I want you to understand me.
Yeah.
I have to look at I think someone just knocked on the door. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, we anyway have to choose a new card now because the scene is over, so we can take a little bit of time to choose a new card. The taboo is gone. And I don't draw another card because that was my last. I draw a legacy card, but we will do that at the very end.
Oh, the legacy cards are fun.
Okay, yeah, looking forward to. So next in order is
Paul.
Paul, yes. So he has a fracture, honorific, and greeting.
Greeting. Hello.
Yeah.
Fracture is fun.
It was a nice young man offering to shovel.
Oh.
Okay.
Pick your own grave, like.
So,
Paul,
okay,
your turn.
It is my turn. I have
It is
chosen.
your turn. You have chosen your card. Oh, no, it's not the taboo. It's the taboo. It's gone. Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So it
There
sounds
it
to me
is.
like the taboo is like that red cup is also a swear word directly against the outsiders, right?
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a red cup. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
There we go. The fracture.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying to zoom so that I can read this more easily.
Also, just enlarge it.
Ah.
A group defines itself by not using one of our words. Make a connection, pick a previously defined word, explain why a group has stopped using this word, skip the build a word phase, explore the fracture. And then the prompt is rifts made permanent.
Mhm.
So I think this is where some people who have not yet made a decision will have to make a decision.
Aziza. What is that?
That was a cup.
It's a cup. A cup.
But it was not the right one. Oh no. I don't like them. Okay. Sorry.
They look like flower pots. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes, they do.
What do we... Jesus, and it's large.
Fracture. So, a group. You need to pick a word. So we get another taboo somehow, right?
Well, no, it's just some of us use it and others don't. So it's
Yeah.
defining the distinction between subgroups.
Yeah.
That may be too similar to what we just did. Let me look at my other cards.
Yeah. Well, if we pick it, then it's possibly the ksh that others start talking about the outside. Because it's kind of a taboo. And it's like...
I like that. Let's do that.
It could also be the son, because for some people it seems too old-fashioned and too spiritual mumbo jumbo. Like, I don't know.
Ooh.
Huh.
Who do you think the group is, Paul?
Well, I think the logical place to go with it is that the welcomers or the protectionists, as it were, or the other. And so it becomes kind of just the use of the word becomes kind of there's a linguistic term called a shibboleth, which is a word that it usually means that the pronunciation of a particular word identifies you as being from a particular group. But in this case, it's sort of a conceptual one. But so it could be that the welcomers don't eat. That's too similar. I like the outside. I like the choice.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking explicitly about things there, right?
Right. So I would think then that it's the welcomers that don't use that word any longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So maybe someone like Anibal and folks like in his sort of approach to the outsiders has stopped using that completely and just calls it the world or the outside or something super specific like Cartagena or something.
Yeah, refers to more specifics. Makes sense.
Yep.
Are we all in agreement on that?
Sounds good.
Then we shall move into a scene, and I would like to put, this time I would like to put Anibal and Hector, and I'll keep Primitivo in there.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'd like to put the three of us together, and maybe, if you'll allow me to frame this hard, maybe this is shortly after the revelation that that there is Sarunda or one of the other newcomers is still directly communicating via sat phone.
Yes.
Hang on, the door just knocked again. Hang on. Oh, you got it? Yet another enterprising young man. So, okay, my attention is returned. So, I think, where do we want to be? So this is after the revelation that someone from the newcomers is directly in contact, perhaps with, even in a way that indicates that the government may know.
Ooh.
Which is bad news. So, where do we want to set this?
Does Primitivo have a place that he maybe goes to when he wants to think, or maybe even past the river to get a little privacy?
I think, yeah, actually, let's say that we'll have taken my boat to a clearing just a little bit upriver, a little pull off, just a little bit upriver, in an area. Hector almost certainly knows that this is where I normally pull off, and this is sort of my private, not private, but my kind of personal spot. This is where I leave for trips from and how I return.
Okay.
So I think it could be that Hector just wants to actually seek out Primitivo after this revelation to talk to him.
That works. And maybe Hector came to Primi, and then since I'm still trying to reach hands to both sides of the fence,
Okay.
then I also brought Anibal along to hopefully do something diplomatic in this moment.
Oh yeah, let's do something. I don't like diplomacy. So Hector, I think, straight to the point.
Sabine.
Primi, this woman, I'm roboting again.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sabine, you're going to have to rejoin again.
Yeah, okay.
And by the way, I usually write when... Yeah, she's done. I'm pretty sure it's her microphone, and she should just get a new one.
Might be.
That was the case for Tyler.
Huh.
It doesn't seem to be, yeah.
So there I am.
There you are.
Okay.
What were you saying?
Huh?
What were you saying?
I was saying that Hector will come straight to the point and say, this woman, she has a connection to, I don't know to who. I think she should give this thing, she should throw it into the river.
Well, now hold on a second. First of all, it belongs to her. She brought it, and
yeah, that she can go away with it if she wants it, but she can't keep it here. It's too much.
Well, is that true? I mean, we have an ability. If somebody has, if somebody was to get hurt while they're working with her phone, we could call, we could call Cartagena, or we could call, the nearest village, and we could get a medevac out here.
Some more outsiders. Are we joining the Ksh now? I thought we wanted to get away from the whole thing. How long do you think it will take for the drug guys to find out we're undangable and come to, I don't know, do experiments on us or something?
Well, maybe we're too afraid. Maybe the world has changed.
Yeah. The world had changed when my parents came here, or when my mother died in those drug things. So maybe change isn't always a good thing. We came here to get away from the change. And now we want to invite it back in.
What are your thoughts, Primi?
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Primi?
That sounded sinister when you said that.
Yeah, well.
I think this is the moment when Primitivo decides that he can't sit on the fence any longer, because it's obviously not working. And so he grabs Anibal and throws him in the river. No.
The
end.
That's absolutely doable.
Nice.
I come back. They say, "Where's Anibal?" I say, "He's sleeping with the fishes."
He had an accident.
So no, actually, at this point, I think I say, a decision has to be made. And
I agree.
I think even though we don't resort to this much, I think we need a vote.
Ooh.
Hector nods. I think so. I think you're right.
Yes, of course. I mean, I'm in favor of a vote too. But that isn't, that isn't going to make the outside world go away.
That's true. I think it needs to be clear, and I'm sorry to say this to you, Hector, that things are irrevocably changed from what they were before. And so this is about how we manage the change, not whether we accept it.
Well, I don't like too much ksh in our midst. Too much speed, because Anibal, you've told me the heart cannot sustain too fast a pace forever. It needs to have quiet.
I think that's a fine place to end, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think
so do I.
Fade to black.
I ended before I could be tempted to throw in some line about you don't want your heart to explode like a cocaine hippo's.
But we were all thinking it. This recording is rated M for mature because it involves cocaine hippos. That's right.
So yeah, that was me deciding the scene was done so that I could say it out loud. Good.
Okay.
I seriously hope I'm never in this position in real life.
Yeah.
This is really a difficult situation.
It is. Oh, yes. So, next one is Hector. There we have it. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, well. Okay, so can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes,
Clear.
and clearly, yes.
That's amazing. I have a card.
Oh,
And
yes.
I think no, put the fish away.
Sorry.
And I think what I want is a misunderstanding.
All right.
So as tensions rise, voices clash. Even among ourselves, we ascribe new meanings to old words and confusion spreads. So I can take a previously defined word and explain why a change in the community has caused some people to ascribe different meaning to it. And what I would like to use is actually, I would like to use son.
Okay.
Which used to mean death, but maybe it became some sort of community feeling.
Oh, yes.
Something that connects all of us, that keeps us the way we are. Because it used to be a stopping point for the river, and now it's on means that we don't change, that we are. Heart is what it is, and it isn't. It is always the same. There is always some characteristic of it that doesn't change. Is that understandable?
Yeah.
Yes. It's like they are the newcomers, and they might completely misunderstand it, right? I got that right? And and also other people. Yeah.
Yes, I think there is this. I think the newcomers think that that maybe it means this eternal. Exactly, it means some sort of eternal connection. Where for us it really means death.
Yeah.
So it's for those who have been here long. It's death and this connection and the circle of life, and the newcomers think that this sound is some sort of connection, and they will probably misuse it.
Yeah, so maybe they've taken this concept, this word that represents death, and since we specifically sort of ritualized it when we initiated it, maybe they've decided that that's what our religion is called.
Yeah, that's great.
It's the white people doing yoga kind of thing. Yeah. And clarification, I do yoga, so
yeah, me too.
I can say that.
I don't know.
Yeah. So it's the yogification of our son. Oh no. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't do that when I'm drinking, please.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to have happen, right? I mean, this is a word that we use as part of our culture. It's part of our language, and they have a minimal understanding of it. But there's enough of them now to where they are actually, when their misinterpretation is affecting our language.
And also the residents.
Yeah.
Consider it kind of useful. Some already start saying, "Yeah, this is our zone, and we live in the zone." We'll see. Sorry, this might be part of the conversation already. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What we know to be true.
They have outsiders.
Yeah. Indeed.
So I would like to have Aziza. I would like to see something of Aziza again in the scene, and maybe Hector. And I actually would like either to have Anibal or Surunda. So we have actually an outsider in this scene. So Paul, would you be okay with playing Surunda?
I can do that.
Special guest star.
Cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay. So framing. I'm framing. yeah, maybe we have it's a preparation for the whole Ami run, and we're preparing whatever we used to prepare for this. Some flowers, garlands put up. It's kind of a festive day. Hector, the vote has been they vote will happen, but now's the festival, so we'll do that after, because that's sure to cause tension, and maybe the festival, let's hope that everybody can come together and be nice to one another. So Hector is making actually an effort and tries to look less grumpy, and has told some of the outsider kids where to put the flower things. But he isn't really happy about it. You can see that.
Oh, Hector, you look good today.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I do. Well, so do you. I mean, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'm actually, I made something for you today. Like out of my pocket, I get a little scarf. It's very light. You can wear it without sweating, and out of natural material and with beautiful colors. And look, there's a sun on it, and it's one of the symbols which was supposed to mean something very specific. But yeah, no, this is I put a sun on it.
Hector just was about to take it, then he gets back a little. He flinches and says, "What? What do you mean, a son? What are you saying to me?" He looks
don't you
visibly.
like the color? Oh.
Aziza, don't you know what? Why do you put my death on it?
No, it's like the whole. It's the heart. It's
but that's the heart, not the. Aziza, the sun. That's death. Is that what you see when you look at me?
I think this would be an ideal moment for Suruna to walk in.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
She walks up and says, "Oh, what a lovely scarf. It's so authentic. What can I give you for one?"
No, I'm also like confused. Like, no, it's a. Wait a second.
Well, yeah. You go and trade with her for whatever your son. Maybe she can use a little son.
Yeah, and I turn to Surunda, who seems to be more understanding, and I turn my back to Hector.
Yeah, and you can see Hector's face darkening and his fists. He clenches his fists and looks at Surunda with some kind of murder in his eyes. But he controls himself barely, and he turns around and goes away, shoving aside some of these newcomers, and he says to Aziza when he calls to Aziza, this scarf of yours, it's kind of a rap cup. And then he walks off into the darkness.
Ooh, says it out loud.
Yeah, he does. He's really pissed now.
And I throw the scarf on the ground. I fall into tears, totally have the ripples, and run and try to find Primi or anybody. I don't mind. I need to.
I think that's the scene. I like that.
Can I just add Suruna
Sure.
Picking up the scarf and folding it and putting it in her pocket?
Okay, cool.
Yes. Oh, that's an artifact.
She can wrap herself for a minute.
Yeah. That's on people. That's on people.
Yeah. Now she's all set to dress as a Heartlander for Halloween.
Absolutely.
Heartlander. Great. So, the last one.
Last scene.
Oh man, is that me?
Yes, that is you.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I forgot. Can I pick any of my 3 cards, or do I definitely pick any of them?
You just you have your 3 cards and choose one.
Okay.
What we bring in?
Let's see.
The past. Will work.
Well, I think we've kind of. Maybe there is a good place. Maybe there's space for a word here. Did I do this right? Yes. So what we bring in. So this will be an action. They start as whispers, but they grow. Voices that aren't our own gain prominence in the community. Make a connection. Pick a previously defined word. Explain why a foreign word for this concept has infiltrated our language.
Nice.
Ooh.
Make a new word to replace a chosen one using the creative word rules in the rule book. An honest mistake. I'm thinking about aspect 2, and I'm thinking about maybe losing our Amiran word being sort of taken over by the outsiders, calling it a run. You know, like the way you'd refer to like a salmon run or any, you know. And you know, it's such a short word, and it's all they ever call it, that you know, maybe we start to lose our special word.
Oh, poor word. I like that word.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, actually. Yeah.
So now and then they simply call it run, but you know, that article that just got published in the outside press, you know, the special interest piece in the outside press actually refers to it mostly as the run, but then the title was Exploring the Tson Fish Festival.
Oh, I'm gonna be ill.
Somebody needs to go into the river and stay there.
How many times have I clicked?
Yeah. All right.
Exploring the Tson Fish Festival. Oh.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That is so terrible and true. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Then we can have a last scene about an honest mistake.
So it's an honest mistake, and nobody's trying to insult us, you know, directly. But you know, maybe let's see. Maybe I'm out there with my new close personal friend Sarunda, by the edge of the river, and I think you guys should all be in it. Nearby doing your work. When suddenly the fish appear, and which would normally have been met with the younger kids screaming "Ami Ami Ran" and running to tell the elders. But this time, Sarunda says, "Oh, look, honey, it's the fish run that you were talking about. For your fish festival." So yeah, like how does Aziza react to that?
It's yeah, the Zone Fish Festival is starting again, right? Yeah, it brings the community together. Like everybody can be happy. Like for one day, there are no ripples. Everybody is welcomed. Nobody's insulting anybody. We are just having a good time together. Like the fish swimming up the river, we can manage to do everything. We don't have to. There's no reason to give up. Like it's always work, and that's the Zone. That's the Zone behind our life. Yeah, right.
And I think for a change, Anibal is going to be like, wait, that's not. None of those words mean what any of you think they mean. It's not a fish run. It's not a Zone Fish Festival. Have you all just forgotten everything?
Oh no, But if we want to live together, we need to understand each other, and things are changing, right, Primi? I have blue color again. For this festival. It's thanks to Sarunda.
I think back on how hard I worked to try and save that goddamn tree. And all I heard, this is interior, all I heard was, "But you have to try harder, but you have to try harder. It's my blue." And not quickly, but I just, after I hear that whole fish festival thing, and Aziza makes this plea, I turn my back, walk back away from, for the first time ever in 20 plus years, I'll just walk away from the fish as they leap in silver in the air, and just back into the village. And I'm totally not going to burn anything down.
Very nice. When you return to the village, you can see Hector. He has some kind of branch, or maybe it's a club or something in his hand, and he really looks not even angry. He just looks like he has decided to do something. And he just walks up to Saruna and looks at her and says, "Woman, you don't belong here. You either leave or you go into the river. I've had it with you and your Zone festival. You not understanding, trying even to understand what we're saying."
I can imagine Hector saying that, and then maybe an overhead view of all the people that have run to see the fish, and fully a third of them at this point are outsiders, and they all just turn to look at Hector, and maybe we could end it there.
Yeah. Okay, and then go for the legacy.
Ooh. That's where we end. Paul, it's up to you to read the final moments.
These are our last moments, or the aftermath. We'll choose a. Am I here? Okay,
Yep,
good.
you're
Yes.
We'll each choose a legacy card and copy it, and then use it to tell an epilogue of our character. So side by side we stand. The compound was supposed to keep us apart from the outsiders, but here we are together. The doors are open, and people move freely between the isolation and the world beyond the walls. Outsiders are now commonplace and bring stark change. How do we remember our time alone?
All right.
Oh man.
So each pick a legacy card
Where-
and copy it into
where are
the
they?
main. They are at the very right.
Oh,
Very
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right? Where's the right?
I will be right
Copy
back. My
paste then.
contact lens has declared a
Ah.
revolt, and I'm temporarily blind, so I'll be right back.
Okay. Ah, there they are. Do we have to just pick one?
Yeah.
At random.
Yeah.
Okay, this is mine.
And yeah, we can copy it into the other sheet. So, yeah.
I'm just fiddling with it so I can read it.
Where are you?
It's on the very right. It just disappeared somehow. Yeah. So, and for the epilogue, there's a little bit of help text. And it says, like, describe the isolation, wrap up the history of and the stories of the individuals in there, in their own language. And describe what happens during the legacy rather than having a conversation. So we can all push the narrative strongly forward, like in a fiasco epilogue. My understanding of these words. And we wait for Brian to return. And yeah, is everybody having a legacy card? Can you read it?
I have one.
Oh, cool.
I can read it.
Even better.
It's gone.
Yeah. Possibly should also do that we can still see our words. Make it a little bit smaller. Last chance to use them.
Yeah. Sorry.
Where are we here?
Blinded but not speechless, Brian. That's good.
What's that?
Blinded but not speechless.
No. I don't know. I think it must have it either it rolled up in the back of my eye and it's making its way towards my brain, or it fell out somewhere. I just all of a sudden. But 50% vision is enough, I think. I should have worn my glasses.
Yesterday. I still have a contact glass behind my eye at the moment. That's why I wear my glasses.
Oh.
Yes.
Ow.
It's yeah. I don't really feel it, but it's there. Yeah.
Okay. Lovely.
Okay, so I can start my epilogue. So we were just saying that it's a little. You can bring whatever you want into the fiction, and like we don't have a conversation. What could have happened, but it's like a fiasco epilogue. We things are just proposed and then they are true. So it's a little bit of a challenge, especially for the last person. It can be about your character alone, what happens to them, what kind of life they live, or to the isolation itself or the heart. So Aziza is not at the heart anymore. Aziza is in San Francisco, and there is a beautiful building and a river running around it, and it has the Zon symbol at its entrance. And I'm sitting at my MacBook, and I'm typing in a spreadsheet, like numbers and calculations about how much I want to pay the teachers, because we are currently under financial constraints. A very important donor has left us, and I need to figure out where to save money and how to restructure the whole Zon temple in San Francisco. And that's the end of Aziza's story, actually. There's not much more to say because this implies everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think, am I next? Yes, I think so. I think Primitivo is barely recognizable. The long, matted, dirty beard, and sort of wearing a very ragged poncho that looks like it has, layers of stains, staining the stains. And he's holding out a cup that of the type we've seen before in this little movie, and shaking it with change in it.
Oh.
Whoa.
Wow.
Out again in the big.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going next. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. So you can see Hector. He is standing. It's not the heart. It's a village. It's not much bigger than the heart was, or maybe even smaller. He is standing. His beard has grown. He's a bit older. He has a gun over his shoulder, and he still has this grumpy, I will protect everything look. And when he looks around at the village and sees the people standing around the well, and the women are talking, it's a nice day, it's kind of a siesta, and he kind of remembers getting a cup, and there you can see a slow and kind of nostalgic smile across his face. So he's
Beautiful.
somewhere else. Yeah.
Next time with Dialect.
Now Brian has still got to go.
I mean, a new isolation has just been found.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, he likes
Exactly.
isolation.
Am I supposed to grab one of these cards?
Yeah.
One of the legacy cards, yes, and then pick one of the options.
Are they? Do we just take them randomly, or were you guys able to read them?
You can read them after. They're three prompts on each card.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
What happened? Oh. What just happened?
I don't know. I think you just lost the card.
Oh, here it is. I think.
Ah, there it is. Yes, that's yours.
There we go. All right. Which one's which? This one?
this one is the one with the one there, and an anonymous chipmunk is moving is yours. You can see that.
Ah, thank you. I think it's Miami, and Anibal is married to Sarunda, and they have a number of children who are being tended to by a nanny, and he has several magazines and books on his shelves that make an attempt to chronicle the heart and the people in the heart. But the magazines are definitely focused on the science behind the anti-deng, the undengable, medicine concept. So that would be how he's remembered, as kind of a combination chronicler, combination sellout.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, nice.
And there we go. Yes. And so, since none of us has described how the isolation now, how the heart now finally looks like, what each of us, one sentence about how the place looks like. Just, it's not in the rules. It's just because I'm interested. I'm curious what you think. Maybe reverse the direction. So we start with Brian.
Yeah, cool.
I think the heart itself is just one part of a sprawling pharma complex that what's the really big pharma company?
Bayer, Novartis.
Yeah, one of those, Merck,
Johnson
whatever.
Johnson.
Yeah, yeah. There's a helipad. There's permanent structures. Our sitting area is long gone. It's hard to recognize it, is how I would imagine it. Oh.
Sabine?
Yeah.
You're next.
Oh, I'm next. Well, I think that the jungle has been cut back a little, and there is some kind of a small harbor for riverboats that can come and go. It's not big riverboats, but just some motorboats, things that bring people, like water taxis, kind of. And what you also can see at this little pier, you can see a man with black sunglasses, and he is putting some packs of pills into crates, and he tells a person that he should be careful when taking these into the US, because the border patrols have gotten really, really smart about them.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Paul.
So, I think the one thing, it has a fence around it, but the one thing that's still there, as you sort of pan through the helipad, the amenities part of the island that once was the heart, there is still, with a fence around it, that standing stone where we first did the Tson ritual. you know, like Olmec, ancient Olmec, worn down standing stone. Only it's leaning.
Mm. I like that.
And I had then under the water, unseen but completely still in place, is the cupboard with all the cups from all the people. It was left there, and it sunk into the river. And it has to be. Then there's a cocaine hippo floating by.
The cocaine hippo was a metaphor.
Yeah.
Oh man, guys, good job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice work.
Really, really unique game. And Garrett, thanks so much for facilitating it. It was really a cool experience.
Yeah, that's a great game.
Thanks to all of you. Yeah. There is actually a structured debrief for the game. Take a few moments to reflect on the experience and talk openly about the game and the story you have told together. And there are 4 questions even, and one of them is, how are you feeling right now? And I can make a start, and I can say it still feels very touching. It's a very intimate relationship I have gotten into with this isolation, and it's a rather sad story, I have to say. Yeah. Yeah, I have a hard time imagining it to play in a more humorous way than we did. Actually, it's hard to imagine how the game goes differently with the isolation to end, which is a beautiful place.
True.
Doesn't have to be a beautiful place though. The first time we played it, our isolation was a remote school for troubled kids, so it was kind of hopeful when it ended.
Oh, interesting. That's very.
Huh. It's interesting, yeah.
But I had the same thing that you don't play many scenes. You don't really are very immersed into your characters, but still you have a strong connection. You know who these people were, and you feel for them. You have the game generates a lot of compassion for these characters. Yeah. I think.
Absolutely,
I agree.
I understood you, but can you rejoin just?
Yes,
just
I can. I can.
So there's another question which says, did anything unexpected happen? Unexpected.
I was in the but now I'm back in the heart. And I'm staying with visuals because we're nearly finished.
Yes.
So you can see me waving around.
I also don't think that it makes a difference if you have the camera on or not.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it helped, unfortunately.
It's unexpected for me was the turn in my character that I was saying, okay, I don't want any trouble here. And at the beginning I thought, okay, that means keeping the outsiders at the distance. And then I thought, okay, there's so many, I need to embrace them.
Yeah, that was interesting.
So
that was cool.
It was something which, like, oh fuck, I can't go on like this. I have to switch sides.
Right.
That came unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like something a very young person would do.
Yeah.
In this situation, it felt pretty organic. It was natural development.
Yeah. Like a survival skill of young people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was surprised by how much I was affected by some of the scenes. More so than most games that I play. And my character did take a different turn. I originally envisioned him as sort of doomed, but it just sort of went kind of in a different direction. And I don't know. I just thought the whole direction, and especially when the whole the idea of us being of the technology being us immune to the disease, I thought was a really cool idea that automatically creates tension. You know.
Indeed, yeah. There's the question: which part of the language is going to stick with you?
Well, I think I like the ksh.
The ksh, yeah.
Ksh, the ksh.
Yeah, I like rept and sound a lot.
Yes, yeah, it's wrapped. It's something I'm personally, like, from a political views, I dislike having a total anti-politicians kind of stand, but this it's wrapped works just so good that.
Right. Yeah.
I thought, and was it our very first word? I thought the ripples. Is
Yeah, that was...
being it is as a metaphor. It's a perfect distillation.
Yeah, it's a great fit.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, I love it. I would totally believe that it's already a proverb in English if somebody told me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. So the very last question is: how will you remember this story?
Oh man, you know, fondly, but a little sadly, I think.
Yeah, it was some kind of deconstruction of this actually quite nice little community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a very it's kind of like an indie filmmaker tried to make a early Werner Herzog movie. This is the most depressing version of like Fitzcarraldo or something like that.
Yes, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
They are all beautiful people, and they are all doomed.
Yeah.
I have to say, I took the freedom by setting up the game, by facilitating, by already choosing a backdrop. And there are two more core backdrops. I didn't want to go to one of the additional Kickstarter backdrops because if you play a game for the first time, I think it's always good to start with the core, like not to change too much. And so there's this Mars colony, there's the robots developing sentience, I think, and being left alone on the world, and the third one is this compound. And the compound was highly appealing to me because I was looking for a little bit of a tragic story, and I think that worked well out. I got everything out, and there's one personal aspect I need to tell you. And that is, I moved away in 2016 from Germany and live in a culture which is not mine, so it's a little bit in isolation here.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, there's this internet thing. This is everywhere. Playing 3 times a week with a Gauntlet, and so it's.
Are you in the city? Are you in the city or are you out in the country? I assume you're in the
countryside. Yeah. It's a rural town, and it's an indigenous community, and everybody's very religious here, so it's difficult to find a place inside of it.
Sure.
So it's a little bit kind of an isolation. It's still different, I agree, but a couple of elements like should we give up this kind of isolation or not is the current state of mind I have. So how well is this going? And having this rituals, and we are not working here, it's like a sabbatical, and life is on a very different pace here. And so there was a lot of bleed from me into this game, I have to admit.
Okay.
But fortunately, I didn't have to bring it in because you brought it in as well. So it was like...
it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. It'll be something that I'll be thinking about, past this moment, which is always a sign of a good game, book, movie. You know.
Yeah. It's very well designed. As I said, I've played it for the second time, and the first time I was there for the whole game, and it was a lot of fun too. It was a bit tragic at times, but it's actually also a lot of fun, and we got to know these characters really well. Which the game really does. I don't know how it does that.
Yeah. I think Well, would you also like to add to this last question, to the how to remember the story? I wasn't sure if we run over you the whole time.
I mostly would just be saying things that are agreeing with things that have already been said, so I didn't jump in because I didn't need to.
Cool. Yeah, there's I think mechanically wise, it's a different discussion. I really like the character creation with this tying to the aspects. I think that is something you can copy one-to-one to every Fate game, but also to other games. Like everywhere where you have like setting creation at the beginning, it's using this archetype cards and you're done, like with backgrounds. And only the relationship building is not so straightforward in this game. There are no bonds or whatever. That is something I thought like they could have given a list of questions how to connect characters.
That's probably true. I mean, it definitely. I would consider this a somewhat advanced game of its kind. We were able to create some really good relationships. I thought, between the. Just between all the different characters, but if you were relatively new to this kind of game, that could be a lot more challenging.
Still agreeing.
Me too.
The other thing is, I'm like usually you draw these cards on random, and we skip the draw a new card at the end of an age or something. I'm not sure if it always plays out so well, the balance between creating new words and changing existing words. I considered that a little bit of a struggle. How many words will we have? Will this always, like from the random perspective, play out well? So I found it totally good that we could see what cards to add to our deck. And I think, like in the end, if I would have changed something, I would have said that we should have created one more word, maybe one modulation of an existing one less. But yeah,
I agree. And I enjoyed being able to pick them. It was great.
I think you can actually modify the words or use them in a different context, like we would say something. I'm looking you could say instead of getting a cup, you could say giving a cup or something, and you can do that also additionally to the word you do each on your turn. At least that's what we did in the other. In the other game.
Yeah, well, we did that as well, right? So we also created verbs out of words, which as a concept were only created like Son changed its meaning without having actually a card saying that it has changed.
True.
It had a card saying that it changed.
Yeah, the eternal connection, but then it became like
that came to mean religion, sure.
Yeah. And indeed, yeah. So that is something I was wondering if.
And I think you can play these actions additionally to your own turn, but I'm not sure. I haven't read the rules. I have had them read to me the last time I played it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I think my head may literally explode in the next.
We're done already.
You don't want to see it, so
I'll say goodbye,
guys. Reminding us. I will stop the broadcasting as well.
Okay.